Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Boxing Along the Beltway, our news and notes for this week. And we have some breaking news that has come down the pipe in the last few hours. And we'll get to that in a moment. And we'll also talk about this weekend's action. We're going to give you results of bouts that took place this past weekend, including one bout that we were actually supposed to talk about and preview last week and didn't do it for whatever reason. I do apologize for that. We also had a couple of bouts that we didn't know about until later in the week. So we're going to give you the updates on that. And, of course, we'll preview a big weekend for the Beltway coming up on Friday and Saturday, June 2nd and June 3rd. Historic amateur card coming up on June 2nd. And then we're live at Rosecroft Raceway on June 3rd. We've got some updates on that card as well. Box on the Beltway news and notes brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain to muscle strain and everything in between, Boxing Along the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. If you go to www.freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. Now, the breaking news for today comes to us from the Maryland State Athletic Commission, who earlier today issued a statement concerning the recent events of May 20th. That was the Gary Russell Jr. Oscar Escondón card at the MGM National Harbor Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland. Of course, the statement concerns the co-feature and what took place after Andre Durrell won the 8th round disqualification over Jose Uzcategui in the co-feature bout. Now, I'm just going to read straight from the statement. This is from the Maryland State Athletic Commission earlier today. It says, quote, based on an initial investigation of events that took place on May 20th, 2017, during a professional boxing show held at MGM National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland, licensed second cornerman Leon Lawson II was similarly suspended by the Maryland State Athletic Commission as of May 23rd, 2017. Of course, that's the Monday after the card, for exhibiting, quote, unruly conduct in violation of commission regulations. Such action is pursuant to Maryland state law authorizing the summary suspension of a licensee where the commission finds that the public health, safety, and welfare imperatively requires emergency action. The statement continues to say, quote, the action was taken as a result of Mr. Lawson punching professional boxer Jose Uzcategui in the face following the conclusion of the boxing contest between Mr. Uzcategui and Andre Durrell. The Maryland State Athletic Commission suspension of Mr. Lawson is issued on an indefinite basis. The commission is continuing the investigation and takes this matter very seriously, end quote. Now, when we last left that story, we were told that Leon Lawson was, quote unquote, on the run and could not be found. Well, apparently, all Lawson did was go right back to Flint, Michigan, where he is meeting with his lawyer, and he is scheduled to turn himself in this Friday, as we record this tomorrow, to Prince George's County Police. So we'll see what happens there. So Lawson's lawyers have said that his client has not been on the run, as previously thought. He's been in Flint, Michigan, discussing the case with his lawyers. So that's the big news as far as that's concerned. Once again, Leon Lawson on indefinite suspension in Maryland, and I'm pretty sure, and of course, WBC put him on suspension. The Association of Boxing Commissioners has condemned the act, so this will be probably a long-running situation for Leon Lawson, and he may not be around too much longer as far as boxing is concerned. We'll see what happens there as we go forward. Now, again, with all the craziness that took place that weekend, I was going to give you an update on the card about that was taking place this past week, and for whatever reason, we just totally omitted it, and I do apologize for that. And that's the bout including Mike Silverback Balogun. This was a pretty big bout for him in the sense that he made a successful road trip for the first time in his pro career. He went to Boca Raton, Florida at the Boca Raton Resort and Spa and won a 6-round unanimous decision over veteran Terence Big Jim Marlboro. He's 40 years old, out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Now, Balogun suffered a flash knockdown early in the bout. First time he's ever been knocked down. From what I heard, it was more of a push than an actual knockdown, but the referee did call it as such. However, Balogun came back to knock Marlboro down twice, and he went on to win the bout by scores of 59-53 twice and 58-54. So again, going on the road, fighting in the home state's boxer, you never know what could happen, but Balogun took care of business, and he's now 11-0, 8 KOs, and Marlboro falls to 8-5 with 6 KOs. So congratulations to the Silverback, Mike Balogun, out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland. One of the quietest returns in Beltway boxing happened this past week as well, and we didn't know anything about this until it took place earlier this week at the Santa Monica Beach Hotel in Santa Monica, California. Talking about Landover, Maryland featherweight Kevin K-Smooth Rivers Jr. Now, not even his trainers, the Roach cousins, Lamont and Bernard, told us about this. But Kevin's K-Smooth Rivers Jr., who's a Golden Boy boxer, he won a 6-round unanimous decision over Roberto Escorpion Pucheta out of La Villa de Carambaro, Mexico, during a charity boxing card at Lowe's Santa Monica Beach Hotel, Santa Monica, California. Rivers had not fought since scoring a 6-round TKO over Angel Espirito. That was in March of 2016 in Washington, D.C., and he won this bout by scores of 60-54, 58-56, and 59-55 to raise his record to 14-1, 10 KOs. The card was raised funds to benefit the Sugar Ray Leonard Foundation, and that's ironic because that's of course, one of the Beltway legends, the Beltway legend in many people's eyes. And the Sugar Ray Leonard Foundation funds life-changing research, care, and awareness for pediatric type 1 and 2 diabetes and help children live healthier lives through diet of exercise. And the bout was promoted, the card was promoted by Golden Boy Promotions. So congratulations to Kevin Rivers. Once again, now 14-1, 10 KOs. Pucheta 10-11-1, 6 KOs. Also over the weekend, Jonathan Bad Badger Baxter, he's a welterweight out of Washington, D.C. He's continuing his North Carolina swing as he won a 4-round unanimous decision over Michael Bynum of Kinston, North Carolina. Looks like Bynum was making his pro debut. Couldn't find any information on him. Baxter, according to reports, he had an issue after he made weight. I guess he ate after he made weight, and the food made him nauseous. So, unfortunately, he wasn't totally where he needs to be, but he did enough to win the bout. He bloodied Bynum's nose en route to winning the bout. We didn't get any scores for that one. This took place in Raleigh, North Carolina, at the Raleigh Convention Center. And Baxter's now 6-1, 5 KOs, and all his wins have taken place in the Carolina. I believe he's fought maybe once in South Carolina, but most of his bouts have been in North Carolina. Bynum, as you said, making his pro debut. So that's the update on the weekend's action. And it sets us up for what should be a very interesting week. And coming up this weekend in the Beltway. We start that weekend on Friday night, June 2nd. As we record this, that's tomorrow night. And it's going to be an interesting amateur bout. Amateur card is going to take place in a very interesting location. In a very historic location, too. This location has some major history in Washington, D.C. and around the country as well. The Poland Valley Association of USA Boxing is putting on an amateur card at the historic Howard Theater. Now, the Howard Theater is located at 620 T Street in Northwest D.C. And we'll talk about the history of the Howard Theater in just a moment. But this bout this card will have a number of Beltway amateur stars. There are 21 bouts scheduled for the card. And I'm not going to go through the whole card. You can read the whole card on the blog, Boxing on the Beltway. But some people that will be involved in the card, we're looking at people like Stacy Selby. He'll be taking on Max Garland. That should be a great bout. No question about that. Rasheem Jefferson will take on Lamar Odom. And by the way, a lot of these boxers that you'll see will be heading, this is kind of a tune-up, to head down to the Junior Olympic National Tournament in Charleston, West Virginia in late June. And this will actually raise money. The proceeds for this card will raise money to send our boxers to the Junior Olympic National Championships. That'll be June 27th to July 2nd. And also on this card, Lorenzo Simpson. He'll take on Maurice Winslow Jr. out of Georgia. His father was a boxer, I believe, out of North Carolina at one point. That's going to be one of the key bouts on the card. There'll be boxers from New England, also from Philadelphia. It should be very interesting to see what happens in this card. Catino Oliver out of Baltimore taking on Jamal Harvey out of Oxon Hill. That should be a great bout. Quincy Williams is on the card. And Jalil Hackett out of Enigma Boxing. A lot of these guys, like I said, going to the Junior Olympic Championships, National Championships. A couple guys who fought in the Golden Gloves recently will be on the card. Tommy Avalar will take on Nick Sullivan out of Norfolk, Virginia. Also, his brother Brian Avalar will take on Salim Kelly out of New Jersey. So those are just some of the 21 bouts that will take place at the Howard Theater in Washington, D.C. Now, the Howard Theater, as I said, has a lot of history in and of itself. And I want to talk about that a little bit because it's very important to not only D.C. history, but African-American history as well. Because the Howard Theater dates back to 1910. And it was part of the Black Broadway entertainment circuit. In fact, it was close to where we have an area in Washington, D.C. called Black Broadway. And it's called that because it was the only place at that time in D.C., which was a segregated city, where African Americans can go enjoy the nightlife, so to speak, concerts, things of that nature. Now, Black Broadway Entertainment Circuit also is known in the national scale as the Chitlin Circuit. And the Chitlin Circuit were a number of theaters around the country, mostly on the East Coast, where African Americans could perform. The Howard Theater was the first. The Regal Theater in Baltimore was one of that. And, of course, the world-famous Apollo Theater was also a part of that as well. And we're talking about some of the great African-American performers of the era came through there over the years. Ella Fitzgerald. We had Nat King Cole come through here. The legendary James Brown performed there. And two well-known D.C.-born entertainers performed there. Of course, the legendary Duke Ellington and also Marvin Gaye, both from Washington, D.C. Now, when the riots took place in Washington, D.C. in 1968 after the passing of the assassination, I should say, of Martin Luther King Jr., there were riots in a lot of that area, like I said, T Street, U Street. They were kind of destroyed by the riots. And the Howard Theater, they tried to reopen for many years in the 70s and 80s. Of course, you had the metro construction, subway construction in that area as well. But finally, in 2012, they reopened the Howard Theater. It's more of a supper club now than a concert hall, although they do have concerts there. But you sit down, you eat dinner, and enjoy whatever shows are being performed there. But this is going to be a rarity. First time it's ever had an athletic event, much less boxing, in the Howard Theater. Tickets are $25 general admission, $40 ringside. You can get them through eventbrite.com. And hope you can join us on Friday, June 2nd for that card. Amateur boxing coming to the historic Howard Theater. Then on Saturday, June 3rd, we'll be coming on the Box on Beltway Google app for Android live from Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. And we'll give you a card. There'll be a 6-bout card now. When we wrote this on the blog, there were more bouts on the card, but that has changed a little bit. And we'll give you those changes in just a second. But the main event is still the same, and that's going to be Michael the Professor Fox headlining another King's Promotions card. There's another King's Promotions card. Of course, Michael Fox is a King's Promotion signee. The bout scheduled for 8 rounds in the super lightweight division. He'll take on the Hudson Valley Kid out of Highland, New York, by way of Vega, Baja, Puerto Rico. His name, Daniel Sostre. Fox is out of Forestville, Maryland, 13-0, 4 KOs. He fought on the last King's Promotion card. That was on February 11th at Rosecroft. Won an 8-round majority decision over a very tough Trayshawn Wiggins. That was a tough bout for Michael, and I think that he grew a little bit in that bout with the win over Trayshawn Wiggins, Sostre's 13-12-1, 5 KOs. He has not fought since he dropped a 8-round unanimous decision to Derek Cuevas on December 10th in Catano, Puerto Rico. And that bout was for the WBA Fedicentro welterweight title. And Sostre will be looking to break a 3-bout losing streak on this card. So that's the main event, 8-round bout there. Also in the card, Tariq, I Get Busy Irby out of Forestville, Maryland, taking on Brandon Bam Sanudo of San Felipe, Baja California, Mexico. And that'll be the first 6-round bout for Tariq Irby. Irby's 2-0, 1 KO. He won a 4-round unanimous decision over Lamont White on February 11th, Rose card. And since that bout, by the way, Lamont White won his first pro bout after 8 attempts. He's now 1-7, and White scored a knockout recently in his last bout. He's scheduled for a card later on this month. Cejudo is 5-4, 2 KOs. He had a 5-bout winning streak snapped in his last bout, won with a 6-round unanimous decision loss to Thomas Velasquez. That was on May 19th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Also on the card, Greg the Sharpshooter Outlaw out of Bowie, Maryland. He'll take on Mario Perez of Baja California, Mexico. Super lightweight contest there. Outlaw is 2-0, coming off a 4-round majority decision win over Keshawn Hutchinson, also on the February 11th card. Good bout for Outlaw, and it was a tough one against Hutchinson, who really fought well in that bout. Perez lost to the debuting Richardson Hitchens, who was one of the battlers of Gary Antoine Russell in the Olympic trials in 2016. Hitchens made his pro debut on March 4th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and won a 4-round unanimous decision. Also, Slick Justin Hurd out of Atkeek, Maryland, super welterweight. He's in action against Alberto Delgado of Roanoke, Virginia. Hurd is 2-0, 1 KO, scored his first pro stoppage on the last card of February 11th. Of course, you can hear this card on the Box on Beltway Google app for Android. He stopped Dewan Pinckney in the second round. Delgado lost to the debuting Joey Veazey out of Baltimore, and that was on October 22nd in Winchester, Virginia. Veazey has not fought since winning his pro debut that night. So we'll see what happens there. So Slick Justin Hurd returns action there. Suitland, Maryland, super bantamweight Malik Lawson will make his pro debut. Now, his opponent has changed. I think his name is Gennaro Simmons, I believe, out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, Lawson completed in the Washington Novice Golden Gloves in 2015, and so he'll take on Simmons, who is 0-1 in his career. That opponent has changed. Also, DC lightweight Jordan the Kid Peters will be in a 4-round bout against Brian Perez Navarez of Carolina, Puerto Rico. Peters 1-0-1, 1 KO, comes off a 4-round majority draw over Hector Bayanilla on April 4th in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And Perez Navarez will be trying to break a 4-bout losing streak against, and he lost a 4-round unanimous decision over to Chase Nelson on May 12th in Philadelphia. So that is the card. Now, a couple of bouts have fallen out of the card, and that's why they will not be there. Luther Lighthouse Smith was scheduled to be on a card in the co-features, matter of fact, the cruiserweight out of Bowie, Maryland. But his opponent, Elvin Sanchez, was injured, so he will not be on the card. And also, Marcus the Dream Crusher Bates, out of D.C., was also supposed to be on the card. He was scheduled to take on the aforementioned Roberto Pucheta. But Pucheta was not approved to compete in this bout. He just fought. He just fought back on May 24th against Kevin Rivers Jr., so apparently that bout was not approved by the Maryland State Athletic Commission, so Marcus Bates is off the card. So it'll be 6 bouts on the card. We're getting away somewhere around 7:25 or so on the Box on Beltway Google app for Android, live from Rosecroft Raceway. Juan Marshall and I will have the call of that card. Should be a lot of fun there, no question about that. A couple of notes before we get out of here. Interesting news concerning Jared Hurd. Apparently, IBF Super Welterweight Champion Jared Hurd is possibly going to take on, in fact, it's pretty much a done deal that he'll take on former world champion Austin No Doubt Trout. The question is where it's going to be and when it's going to be. Those are the questions right now. There is, of course, in the bigger boxing world, there's the announcement that came this week that Adrian Broner will take on Mikey Garcia on July 29th. I say let's put those bouts together on one card and let's have it here at the MGM National Harbor or in D.C. National Harbor would be a great place to have it. D.C. would be as well, but that would be a real nice bout. That card to have that. And I was approached by someone who talked about possibly having Lamont Peterson on a card and have that at the Verizon Center. I'm not sure if Mikey Garcia, Adrian Broner, plus Lamont Peterson and whoever he might be big enough for Verizon Center, but we shall see. But I think since they're looking at July for July 29th for Garcia and Broner. And they're also looking late July for Trout and Hurd. Why not put those two together, put them in a card here at the MJ National Harbor in Maryland or someplace in Washington, D.C., whether it be the Armory or the Convention Center. So be interesting to see what happens coming up. And, of course, again, we'll be following all the way through here on Boxing Along the Beltway, and it should be a great one. So don't forget to join us Friday, June 2nd. We won't broadcast from that one for the amateur card there, but we hope to be there for that one at the Howard Theater. And we will be broadcasting live from Rosecroft Raceway on Saturday night, June 3rd. Make sure you join us for that, and make sure you join us in person, really. I mean, we'd like for you to join us in person for that card. That should be a good one. And once again, the breaking news, Leon Lawson II has been indefinitely suspended by the Maryland State Athletic Commission for his actions on May 20th in the corner of Jose Utsgege. So that'll do it here for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes. Mind the Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. Go to www.freepainoffer.com. Buy $10 worth of real-time pain relief. You get a free $10 tube of real-time pain relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world. The boxing along the Beltway. Take care. Thanks for listening.